Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
If I talk about the growth of local governments in India, so it was under 73rd and 74th Amendment. But let's see how it all happened. I would like to tell you the India's ancient civilization. Now, the word Gramini, that is word the village leader, is mentioned in the Rig Veda. And the kingdoms rose and collapsed, and but the self-sufficient village life continued as before because they were capable of solving their problem. Now, when there was British rule in India, with the advent of the British things, uh, like these things started changing gradually. The importance of the panchayat, and we could say it went down because of various new laws and setting up of new codes. Now, the viceroyalty of Lord Ripon, which was, I suppose, the time was 1880 to 84. In modern times, the idea of decentralization, that means the distribution of the powers, as an administration step can be traced to Lord Ripon's resolution in the year 1882. He was the Viceroy and Governor General of India from 1880 to 84. And this resolution, Lord Ripon made it clear that the expansion of local self government was desirable and instrument of political and popular education. So, provincial government were directed to maintain and extend a network of local boards over the districts. And municipal corporations were first established in the presidency towns of Mumbai. That is your municipal corporation. Then Kolkata, Chennai in late 19th century. After that, it was common to have municipal bodies in other towns, and gradually their number increased. Now, local self government in the rural areas. But before I do that, I would tell you what was 73rd and 74th Amendment. 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments were passed by Parliament in December 1902. Though these amendments, local self governance was introduced in rural and urban area. The acts came into force as the Constitution 73rd Act 1992 on April 24th, 1993, and the Constitution 74th Amendment Act 1992 on June 1st, 1993. These amendments added two new parts to the Constitution. 73rd Amendment added Part 9 titled the Panchayats, and 74th Amendment added Part 9A titled the Municipality. The local bodies, panchayats and municipalities came under Part 9 and 9A of the Constitution after 43 years of India. And local government in the rural areas like self panchayats were set up in rural areas according with the recommendation of Royal Commission of Decentralization in 1907. The Rural Self Government Bill 1925 required the creation of a village body so that the problems could be solved at the village level. And the provincial legislature passed this act. And the provincial autonomy introduced by the Government of Indian Act 1935. And in spite of our long experience with the local bodies ever since independence, these institutions had not received the recognition and support they deserved. So the 73rd Amendment Act, as I told you, in April 1993, and it added a new schedule to the constitution which provide guidelines to the Panchayati Raj. Now let's see what are the salient features of these two amendments. Basic units of democratic system, Gram Sabhas and ward committees, and compromising all the adult members registered as voters. Now, the three-tier system of panchayats at village, intermediate block, taluk, mandal, and district level, except the states with population is below 20 lakhs, Article 243B. Seats at all levels to be filled by the direct elections, as like it will be done as the other election process has taken place. That is Article 243(c)(2). Seats are reserved for STs and STs, and the chairperson of the panchayats at all levels shall be reserved for SCs and STs in proportion to their population. One third of the total population of seats to be reserved for women, and one third of the seats reserved for the SCs and STs, and also reserved for the women, and one third offices of chairpersons at all levels reserved for women. Article 243D. Uniform 5-year term and elections to constitute new bodies to be completed before the expiry of the term. In the event of dissolution, elections compulsorily within 6 months. Article 243. Let's come back to Panchayati Raj in India, how it started, how it worked. What is Panchayati Raj in India? Let's see that. And structure of Panchayati Raj is Zilla Parishad, Block Panchayat Samiti, and Gram Panchayat. The system came to be known as Panchayati Raj at village level, which was inaugurated by the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on 2nd October 1999 at Nagaur in Rajasthan. The first elections under the Rajasthan Panchayat Samitis and Zilla Parishads Act 1999 were held in October 1950. What were the salient features of Constitution 73rd Amendment? These amendments added two new parts to the Constitution, namely added Part 9 titled the Panchayats and Part 9A titled the Municipalities, which was added by 70th Amendment. And the basic units of democratic system, Gram Sabhas and ward committees, comprising all the adult members registered as voters. The Ministry of Rural Development, that means Government of India, proposed that instead of two meetings, the Gram Sabha should hold 4 meetings and predetermined. Let's see how. 3-tier system of panchayats at village, intermediate, block, taluk, mandal and district levels except in state, with this population is below 20 lakhs. Article 43B. 73rd Amendment, detail all levels to be filled by direct elections, Article 243, and seats reserved for Shimtas and the chairpersons of the panchayats at all levels, and all shall be reserved for SCs and STs in proportion to population. One third of the total number of seats to be reserved for women, and one third of the seats reserved for SCs and STs also reserved for women, and one third offices of chairpersons at all levels reserved for women. Article 2. Uniform 5-year term and elections to constitute new bodies to be completed before the expiry of the term, and in the event of dissolution, elections compulsory within 6 months. It was Article 243E. And the Independent Election Commission in each state for superintendence, direction and control of the electoral rolls, Article 243. And panchayats to prepare plans for economic development and social justice in respect of subjects as developed by law to the various levels of panchayats including subjects and as illustrated in 11th schedule, Article 243. Here there is a picture of Gram Sabha or Gram Panchayat. Now the 3-tier structure of Panchayati Raj. Panchayats at village level, this is the basic or grassroots level of Panchayati Raj. The panchayat for a village or a group of village includes Gram Sabha, the symbol of direct democracy, Gram Panchayat and Nyay Panchayat. The 3-tier system of Panchayati Raj, Gram Sabha, recognition to Gram Sabha, and institution of direct democracy. It is an important feature of the 73rd Amendment. Gram Sabha consists of all adult residents within the village or group of villages. Thus, it is the only institution of direct democracy in the country. Generally, 2 meetings of Gram Sabha are held every year. The Ministry of Rural Development proposed that instead of 2 meetings, Gram Sabha should hold 4 meetings on predetermined days during the year. And the Gram Sabha is elected Gram Pradhan, who is called President also, who has tenure of 5 years. And the Vice President is elected by the Gram Panchayat and not by the Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha can hold its meetings, and the year 1999 and 2000 was observed as a year of Gram Sabha, and usually the venue for the Gram Sabha meetings in the school premises or some religious place like temple, mosque, or church premises, or a barat ghar, place of accommodating a marriage party. So a few Gram Pradhans having progressive ideas are in meetings of Dalit Bastis. And in these meetings, the Gram Sabha as a general body of the people hear annual statement of accounts, audit, or administrative report panchayats. It also recommends new development projects to be undertaken by panchayats. It also helps in identifying poor people of the village so that they may be given economic. Now let's see what exactly their function. Organization of meetings. The first function of Gram Sabha is to hold meetings twice a year, and the first sitting is held after the Harif harvest, and second sitting is after the Rabi harvest. But they can extend it to 4 meetings. Then regarding elections, the Gram Sabha elects the own president, who is also the president of the village panchayat. So he's elected for 5 years, and beside this, Gram Sabha elects the panchas of the village panchayat, the judicial panchayat, and pass a resolution, no confidence against it. And regarding village development projects, the Gram Sabha makes village development projects and gives acceptance to them and supervises all other activities regarding the village upliftment. Then the financial conditions also. Its function are to make provision for village funds and consider audit report annually, and it considers over the taxes proposed by the village panchayat and give its accent to the source of income of the panchayat and controls the income. How the composition of panchayat is all members in panchayat are directly elected. And if a state so decides, members of the state legislature and parliament may also be represented in district and middle level panchayat. The middle level panchayat are generally known as panchayat samiti. And provisions have been made for the inclusion of the chairpersons of the village panchayats in the block and district level panchayats, and the provision regarding the SC, STs and tribes as already mentioned. However, it should be noted that here that one third of total seats are reserved for women, one third for women out of the quota. Just I discussed it in the previous slide as well. And the scheduled caste tribe reservation is also provided for offices of chairperson. The reserved seats are allotted by a rotation, different countries in panchayat, and state legislature can provide for further reservation for OBCs in panchayat. Now, Gram Panchayat, the lower tier of panchayati raj system in the country, is the village level panchayat. So it is known in most of the states as Gram Panchayat. And members of Gram Panchayat are elected by the Gram Sabha. Panchayat does not mean that it will have only 5 members, and the number varies from state to state. And as already mentioned, one third of the total number of seats are reserved for women. And every panchayat has a 5-year term. In the event of dissolution of any of the Gram Panchayat, elections will be compulsorily held within 6 months. 6 months. And the Panchayati Raj Act provides that in panchayat seats would be reserved for SC, STs in proportion of their population, and moreover, not less than one third of the total population of seats, total number of seats would be reserved for women. And it is important for note that offices of sarpanchas and adhikshas, that is the chairpersons, shall also be reserved for SCs, STs, and women in all the levels. Now, these are the functions of the Gram Panchayat, like the welfare of development of the village is the responsibility of Gram Panchayat, provide safe drinking water, paving of streets, sanitation and drainage, maintenance and construction of roads, and street lighting, cleanliness of the village, tree plantation, setting up and maintaining sports grounds, and many more. Let's see what are the power and functions of Gram Panchayat in detail. Regarding public welfare, that means the welfare of the people, those who are the villagers. Gram Panchayats make provision especially in the public welfare activities so that it can help them. These functions include making the lighting arrangements in street, roads, public places, supervision of cemeteries and graveyards, holding the fairs, planting of trees by roadside, setting up child welfare centers for children and maternity centers for helping pregnant women, leveling the land, and arranging for media and public. And next one is your regarding sanitation. And as you know, sanitation is actually required in the villages, and these days this is a priority. So Gram Panchayat perform the cleaning of the places of transport, keeping them in good order, then building of bridges and arranging for vaccinations, cleanliness of wells, ponds and tanks, and above all, filling in the pits of dung and rubbish, and arranging for fields and wrestling grounds for improving health. And regarding the transport also, like it has control over all routes within its jurisdiction. It gets them repaired to keep them in good order, and it builds bridge and ferries and widens them. It also plants trees or either side of the roads. And the educational level, the panchayats are in the primary school for children, and they make provision for adult education and set up high schools for this purpose. And at administrative level, it performs many activities, many functions. They check crimes within their jurisdiction, help the police in their work. They provide information to the district officers, and they just discuss all these problems regarding their area. And they also complain to the higher authorities against a public servant who is negligent in his duty, so that no inconvenience may be occurred for the villagers. And agricultural and industrial, the functions of village panchayat are very important from the point of view, because a happy village is the village which sustains with its resources and come up with the solutions. And these functions include management of public pastures, to determine a place for storing up of manure, to make efforts for improving cattle breed, to provide for veterinary hospitals, to propagate about methods of improvement in agriculture, and to encourage cottage industry and to consider remove their improvement. And next is your Nyay Panchayat. What exactly the Nyay Panchayat is? It is like Nyay Panchayat are village courts where disputes between villagers are settled. Watershed is a ridge of high land dividing into two areas that are drained by different river systems. Also, what are called water parting. So, Zilla Parishad is the apex body of Panchayati Raj system. And these panchayats at at this level, they just the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India, have been prepared the draft bill 2009 that aims to revitalize the concept of participatory grassroots level dispute resolution by mediation and conciliation and compromise outside the formal judicial system. I'm repeating this Nyay Panchayat. Just as the Gram Sabhas function are linked to legislature and those of village panchayat to executive, in the same way the Nyaya Panchayat functions are just as that of judiciary. Like this is kind of judiciary in villages. When the Gram Sabha elects the members of their panchayat, five more members to the maximum are elected. And that is if Gram Sabha is to elect 15 members for the panchayat, so it will elect 20 members at the most. And of these members, like they are nominated as panchas of Nyaya Panchayat by an officer appointed by the government. The Nyaya Panchayat is composed of several village panchayats, and it includes Nyaya Panch, all these panchas. And the working procedure of Nyaya Panchayat is like generally the decision of Nyaya Panchayat are not appealable and they are final. Whenever there is a fight between two persons, the Nyaya Panchayat adopts definite procedure to decide the case. Sarpanch appoints a bench of five members to decide the case. Of these five panchas, at least one must be educated who may put the hearing of the case into black and white. One of the panchas generally belong to the village of each party in dispute, so that they may able to understand the situation well, and in this of each party dispute, so that they may be able to understand, and in this bench no such person is included who is party to them, and the decision is made by the Ministry of Panchayati Raj, Government of India prepared the draft Nyaya Panchayat Bill 2009 that aims to revitalize the concept of participatory grassroots level dispute resolution of by mediation, conciliation, and compromise outside formal judicial. Now, the sources of income of Gram Panchayat. The sources of income of village panchayat is divided into broad headings, like each Gram Panchayat has its own fund, and money comes from the different sources and it deposited in this fund. The taxes imposed by the village panchayat, like taxes on land and houses, custom duty, the toll tax, license fees on transport and commerce. And even taxes are collected from professions, trade, and commerce for lighting the streets, from school, hospitals, dispensaries, markets, the resting places, and like places used by common people. Now, what are the powers and responsibilities of panchayats? State legislatures may endow panchayats with such powers and authority as may be to become institution of self-government at the grassroots. Responsibility may be given to them, their plans for economic development, social justice, schemes of economic development, because all these things are required for the welfare of the people exactly. So, to minimize their work, they have given this responsibility to them. So, 29 important matters mentioned in 11th schedule, such as agriculture, primary and secondary education, health, sanitation, drinking water, rural housing, the welfare of weaker sections, social forestry, and so forth, may be made by them. Now, at the block level, panchayat samiti. The structure of Panchayati Raj institutions in India is like district level Jila Parishad, block level Panchayat Samiti, village level Gram Panchayat. I already have my Panchayat Samiti at intermediate Panchayat, block level Panchayat, Tehsil, Mandal Parishad, Kshetra Panchayat, Taluka. Now, what is Panchayat Samiti? The second or middle tier of the Panchayati Raj is Panchayat Samiti, which provides a link between Gram Panchayat and the Zilla Parishad. The strength of a Panchayat Samiti also depends on the population in a Samiti area. In Panchayat Samiti, some members are directly elected, Sarpanch of the Gram Panchayat. Sarpanch of the Gram Panchayat are ex officio members of Panchayat Samiti. However, all the Sarpanches of Gram Panchayats are not members of Panchayat Samitis at the same time, and the number varies from state to state and is rotated annually. That only chairpersons of some Gram Panchayat in a Samiti area are members of Panchayat Samiti at one. And in some panchayats, members of legislative assemblies and legislative councils, as well as members of parliament, the Samiti area are co-opted as its members, and chairpersons of Panchayat Samiti are elected indirectly by and from among the elected members thereof. So the functions of Panchayat Samiti. They are the hub of the developmental activities, like all those activities which are for the development of the society, and they do it at the local level. And it is headed by block development officers. Some functions are entrusted to them, like agriculture, land improvement, watershed development, social and farm forestry, technical and vocational education. And the second type of functions rotates to the implementation of some specific plans, means programs to which funds are earmarked. It means that a panchayat committee has to spend money only on that specific project. The choice of location or beneficiaries is, however, available to the panchayat committee.